Bing.
Yo. You are now tuned in to the freshest 30 minutes to an hour to however long it takes. Freshest in podcast land, the GodChaserz Podcast. And I have two special guests on our year in best of 2022 podcast. First, my special guest, the first one is a lyricist, a wordsmith, a barsmith, a man of God, a dude who writes raps that can body your favorite MC. He's your favorite MC. The biggest homie, ReadyWriter, is in the building. What's up, bro?
Talking about Sketch. Sketch kills it with the pen. Yeah, I think y'all forgot. He is a writer.
Whatever.
For real.
And my next guest, he's the journalist. He's the analyst. He's the Christian hip-hop historian. He has notes. His Christian hip-hop concert t-shirt collection is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's the homie of homies, rapping, cut and shoot Texas. Sketch the J is in the building.
What's up?
We are here. Let me just flex the title belt real quick. I'm gonna show it every chance I get. Okay. And this podcast is brought to you by Patreon. All the people who are Patreons for the GodChaserz Podcast, thank you for being a Patreon. If you would like to be a Patreon, go to patreon.com/GodChaserz. And our other sponsor is Before He Cracks the Sky. All right. So what we're gonna do? This year we have a new category. So we're going over our top 10 Christian hip hop albums of 2022, and then we're going to talk about our top 10 movies / TV shows. We grouped them in this year, and our new category is top verses of 2022. So what we're gonna start with. Let's start with movies / TV shows, and we're gonna go from there. So who wants to volunteer first?
I can go. I'm good.
You good? All right, let's rock.
All right, so we're going 10 all the way down to 1.
Yes, and you know, you could talk about why these are your picks. And before you go to 10, was there any movie that could have made it, that possibly should have made it?
Okay, so I would say Hustle with Adam Sandler and Queen Latifah.
Okay.
Love basketball movies. It just didn't make it on this list, but it was close. Thought it was a really good movie. I think it's on Netflix, so check that out. If you've ever seen like Blue Chips or anything like that about kind of recruiting players and getting them to play and different things like that, in this particular story, Adam Sandler was a coach. Queen Latifah was his wife, and he saw this dude that he thought he could make into a great player. So, good movie. The Giannis movie was Disney good, if you know what I mean. It was Disney good. So, I'll stop with that. All right. So my number 10 was Andor. Andor. Yeah. Okay. Prequel to Rogue One, the best Star Wars movie, in case you didn't know. About Cassian Andor. I thought it was a great show. It was probably the best Star Wars show they had. I didn't like the other one that I'm not going to name. The next one I have, number 9, The Kingsman, which is the original story of how the inception of the Kingsman. Just tells the story of how everything got started and how they began to save the world and different things like that. Thought it was a great movie. A lot of action on my list this year because I think that's where I was mentally. So yeah. Chicago PD at number 8. So if you like gritty cop shows,
Right.
that show is probably the realest out of all the cop shows. They're dirty. They do bad stuff for good reasons. It's just one of those shows. Number 7, got to get my anime in. Bleach, 1,000 Years Blood War. That's on Hulu. Great animation, great fighting. If you like Bleach, if you like Dragon Ball Z kind of stuff, this would be right up your alley. Super dope. Number 6, Amsterdam. So Amsterdam was interesting for me because it's based on a true story. I don't know if people knew that. And it's a crazy story that we got Kristen Bell. We got the lady who plays Harley. I think her name is Margaret Robbie. We also got John David Washington. Really good movie, beautiful shot. Really good acting on it. So I think people slept on it because kind of came in COVID at a weird time and just popped out on DVD and you didn't know it was there, but it was good. Number 5, Gray Man. This is a Netflix movie. Ron Gosling, Chris
Gray
Evans.
Man.
Yeah, The Gray Man.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a secret agent mercenary type drama by the Russo brothers, and they make those action movies, so it's really good. Yeah, there's nothing bad to say about it. If you like action movies, it's not quite A tier, right? But it's like B plus. So
Okay.
yeah, it's good. Number 4, more cop movies, shows rather. East New York.
East New York. Okay.
So number 4, show about a black police captain who took over this particular sect of cops, and they're kind of trying to put into place all the things that we hear people talking about, like cops living in the neighborhoods that they police and different things like that, and trying to help the neighborhood versus trying to criminalize everybody.
Right.
So it's a good thought experiment as far as that's concerned. It's a good show to me. I thought it was really good. Well,
where do you watch that one at?
That is on Paramount Plus for sure,
Paramount.
and it's also on TV.
Yep.
Yep. The next one, Terminal List, Amazon Prime.
What number is this?
This is number 3.
Okay.
Terminal List with Chris Pratt. Traditional like Navy SEAL Army movie, drama. Chris Pratt did an excellent job. I think he's going to be our new Arnold Schwarzenegger, our new Rock kind of person. He did a great job with this one. Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, just good. Terminal List on Amazon Prime. Number 2, back to my anime bag. Spy versus Family. I don't think, even if you don't like anime, I think anybody who gives this anime a shot will like it. The premise is you have a dad who's a secret agent who adopts a child who has psychic powers, and he gets married to a woman that's an assassin in order to get the girl into the school to get close to a person that he's trying to get information on. But it's super funny. We watch it as a family in this house. My wife is not particularly an anime person, so that should let you know that it's a good show. Number 1.
Uh-oh.
Rings of Power.
Who?
Rings of Power.
Wait, okay, hold on. Wait. Did you name movies and TV shows together?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a whole bunch of stuff that didn't make your list.
Yep.
Okay. So you said number 1 was Rings of Power.
Yeah. So Rings of Power. And I'll tell you, I should have said this in the beginning. I cut out anything that I watched last year. So everything on this list is brand new.
Wow. Well, this was for 2022. It shouldn't be anything 2021. So you're saying anything that was in your list in 2021, you cut it out.
Right. So for instance, SEAL Team came on this year. That would
have been great.
Right. And it was great, but I was like, I'm not going to put it on here again. My Hero came on again. I'm not going to put it on here again. I'm going to put some new stuff on here. So Rings of Power, beautifully shot, I don't know how much they spent on that budget because
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
The conversations were, if you like the lore of Lord of the Rings, they got in depth with the conversations. When you find out who Sauron is, it's a twist. It was good. It was good. Me and my wife watched it. It was riveting. So that's my number one, Rings of Power, Amazon Prime.
Holy moly.
Yep.
Holy moly. Okay. What you think? Sketch, rock, paper, scissors? Oh, my dear Lord said, absolutely not. All right. I'll go.
Okay.
Okay.
You probably have more movies. I know you're a big movie buff. I was trying to make my list, and mine was mostly television, but I'm anxious to hear.
I got a good blend.
Okay.
Now I know I'm going to get heat for this, and I don't care because I don't care. So I'm gonna say this: Black Panther 2 did not make my top 10 list this year at all.
Yeah, that's surprising.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm okay. So I'm not going to go into vast detail. What I am going to say is you did not see how big of a star Chadwick Boseman was until he was outside of this film and he left a gaping vortex in star power in this movie. It was night and day. You couldn't neglect the fact, and even though they did the honor him and woo, I did not care. You see how big of a hole, you know what I'm saying? And then the story, which I'm not gonna get into, the story shouldn't have been what it was. They should have, like, I'll say the Submariner should have had his story should have been its own thing. Like, why put him at the expense of this franchise? I completely hated it. It's not in my top 10. Let me rephrase it. I hated it for top 10. It could be easily 12, but no, it'll be 20. How about that?
Golly.
That's right.
That's tough coming from the person I know that's the biggest Black Panther fan.
My Black Panther collection is killer. Matter of fact, I recently got the first appearance of Black Panther in Fantastic Four number 52. That's what they get for killing Killmonger. Yes, that's what they get. Okay, so here we go. Let's start at number 10. My 10, Tales of the Jedi. Oh, yes.
Yeah, like the anime kind of anthology.
Anime.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good.
It could have easily been number 2 if it wasn't short stories. If they would have let it play out a little more, give it some more, they was killing it. The whole story with Dooku, amazing. All right, my number 9, comedy, Abbott Elementary.
Yeah,
that's good. I was watching it today.
Yes, Abbott Elementary was good. Let's say I thought this was going to be a Christian rap talk. Oh, we're getting a Christian rap if you stay on. You gotta stay on. Somebody like, I thought it was Christian rap. We're talking Christian rap. Next, East New York.
Yeah.
East New York. You said it's great. After East New York, Andor.
Okay.
Now let me tell you my thoughts on Andor. Andor, I had to get in the mind frame of this is a totally different type of story. This is not use the Force, droid, Skywalker, air choke. This is the beauty of this is in the dialogue and in the writing. And when there is action, that's just added bonus. So when I got my mind to that, because if I thought this was going to be a regular Star Wars story, I was gonna hate it. So Andor. Next, Ring of Power. Ring of Power, yes, beautifully shot. You know, just like all other Lord of the Rings, there was a lot of walking and there was a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And a lot of trolls. After Ring of Power, Black Adam. Now, hold on, wait.
Black Adam made it, but Wakanda Forever did not?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's why. The Rock was not the best actor in this movie. What is his name? His last name is Hodges. The dude played Hawkman.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
I know what you're talking about. The black
yeah.
guy.
So he's always been a good actor. Like anything he played on, what was that show? Scorpion, great actor. On this one, he upped the game. And the guy, the old 007 who was Dr. Fate made this movie.
Yeah.
The visualization was great. The effects was great for Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate needs his own. He need a prequel to this because they did so good. So Black Adam. So we're down to my top 4. Mm-hmm. Number 4, Book of Boba Fett. No. Okay. So one, having the Mandalorian in this series, and when it showed up, it was game over.
Yeah,
game over. And at the end with the what is the name of the beast? Rancor.
The
Rancor.
Rancors, yeah.
Yes, the Rancor. Aldous Hodges, that's his name. Thank you. Book of Boba Fett. So number 3.
But doesn't that tell you that it wasn't as good a show if Mandalorian had to come in and save it?
Thank you.
Because I love Mandalorian, but yeah, Boba Fett did not do it for me.
I
think they knew it too, so that's why let's put him in there at the end.
No, he was episode 4. It don't matter. If Mandalorian is in there, a Rancor is in there, the dude who was like the bully Chewbacca, he was who else was that? The part. Now the first part was slow. The latter part of Boba Fett was amazing.
He spent every time in the rejuvenation chamber.
I know.
wait, and
show.
Cad Bane. When Cad Bane showed up, it was over for me. Like, you know, anytime you take somebody out of Clone Wars and Rebels and make it live action, it's over for me. That's it. Okay. Number 3, and Ahsoka was in it. Come on, man. Come on. Number 3, Kenobi.
Obi-Wan. Nope, can't do
it. So let me tell you what they did right. What they did right was undo all of the boo-boo they did in Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith. They undid a lot of stuff that I hated. And when they came back and did it in the fight scene with Vader, come on, man. Like, you got Vader fighting? Come on, dude. Like, when he said the thing like, you not to blame. I killed Anakin Skywalker. Like, dude, that was a whole moment. So, Kenobi, number 3. Number 2, which I don't know why this isn't in Reddy's top. I don't understand. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home.
I forgot about it. That's why.
Because, dude, if the Green Goblin power bombs you through a whole floor of a building, your whole movie goes up here. Like, come on, man. Like, so this could have been number one. This could have Vader fight scene. Good. Oh man. So the next, my number one, Top Gun. Number one movie of the year. And somebody says in the comments whatever they said. All right. Top Gun. Like, it was such a debate. Spider-Man, Top Gun, Spider-Man, Top Gun, Spider-Man, Top Gun. Top Gun was, it's like you wait 20 years to make. Is it 20 years? It was over 20 years because that was like an 80s movie.
Might have been over. Yeah, I think over.
30 years and you don't miss a beat. Phenomenal feat. So that's my top 10. So after this, so what you guys want to go to? Top Christian rap albums first or verses after Sketch? Which one y'all want to go to?
I think the Christian albums.
Outside of verses? Okay. Sketch, your top 10. Let's go.
Sure. So a couple of caveats. One, mine is definitely a mix of like TV shows, movies, different entertainment that I enjoyed. And two, there are some mature choices on mine. So use your spiritual discretion depending on, and read the labels before you get into some of these. But I think they still have some value. But one that didn't make the list was probably F1 Drive to Survive. It's a Netflix documentary that has gotten me into the sport of F1. I really wasn't that much into it, but the company I work for sponsors one of the big racers who happens to be one of the top dogs. So that got me. And then the show they film a whole season and then kind of break it up and give you storylines. So that helped me out. Number 10, Better Call Saul. So the sequel and kind of finale to the whole Breaking Bad universe that followed the attorney. When you first heard about that show, it almost seemed like a bad idea, but I think they really worked it well. Added a lot of drama to this. Number 9, the Genius, the Kanye trilogy documentary on Netflix. He's certainly had his issues, but this reminded you of that old Kanye that he talks about in his own lyrics, and showed his friends that were willing to turn off the camera when it looked like he was getting in trouble and stuff too. So it gives you definitely a deeper appreciation for his earlier work. Number 8 is a Hulu series called Rami. It's about a millennial guy who's a Muslim in New Jersey, and he's really conflicted in trying to live out his faith and also like torn by his flesh. Decent amount of mature content in there, but I think it poses a lot of interesting questions that I would appreciate a similar series maybe being even done from a Christian perspective about what it means to be young and free and pulled in these different directions and trying to live out your faith. Number 7 is a show that I saw in Las Vegas recently, a stage show. So Freestyle Love Supreme. It's the improv hip hop show that Lin-Manuel Miranda of Hamilton and Encanto fame that he did before all of that. He was part of this like hip hop freestyle crew. So backstory is last year I was in New York. I was celebrating my first year of marriage with my wife. We decided on a whim to go see this show because we heard Lin-Manuel Miranda was going to be doing 2 special dates. Somebody in the cast got COVID. It was canceled like an hour before the show. So we were pretty bummed. We heard that it was coming to Las Vegas for residency. And my wife said, and that Manuel Miranda was going to do 2 shows there. So on a flyer, we just kind of bought tickets and went. But to me, it was just like the highest level of like improv, comedy, hip hop stuff, and got to see Lin-Manuel Miranda perform it too. So really enjoyed that. If it's available where you're at, check him out. He may not be on the show, but there's tons of other talented people. Number 6, This Is Us, the NBC family drama. It ended its season this year, and it was a show that I could watch with my wife, and it made me have all the feelings. I know for a lot of people it was a tearjerker, and I don't often tap into that side, so it was good for me to have a show that would occasionally make me tear up. Or
what show is this?
This Is Us.
Oh, no, I refuse to
See,
watch that.
that's exactly. Yep, that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I want to cry every time
Yeah.
I watch the episode.
No way.
Good.
Yeah, I don't recommend a whole slate of those, but it's good to have one in your mix.
Right.
So,
Right.
number 5 is another FX show, Atlanta. So Donald Glover's show, again, mature content. This year, we got season 3 and season 4, and there's a lot of debate about whether season 3 went too off the rails. It went in a little bit of a anthology type style, Black Mirror, showing like Black life, but very interesting, very artistic kind of stuff that I enjoyed. Number 4, I'll say Wakanda Forever. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it much more than Brinson did. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I came away enjoying the story. I don't read comics the way that I know Brinson does, and maybe even Reddy, but so I didn't know a lot about Namor and his journey. But yeah, Brinson's showing off Killmonger. So, but I like the movie. It was one of the few I went to see in theaters. Number 3, Top Gun, like you. Super enjoyable. I saw it twice in the theater.
Whoa.
I think one thing that we appreciated about it is that it was a lot of practical effects. And Tom Cruise talked about he really wanted to have real people and real jets, and it wasn't all CGI. And it was just kind of a good popcorn movie. And number 2, Abbott Elementary. To me, that's one of the funniest shows on TV.
I enjoy it. It's a really good show. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of The Office.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of similarities in the mockumentary, and a kind of goofy couple that's kind of getting together, maybe not, and yeah, a lot of similarities. But I like the way that it's presented. And number 1, a bit of an unconventional. The Major League Baseball World Series, in which the Houston Astros won. For real, that was television that we were glued to the whole playoffs. Every night we were watching 3 or 4 hours of TV, watching my team. They had tons of drama, had a no-hitter, had a blowout, had a comeback, had Jeremy Pena taking over for Carlos Correa.
Oh!
We got another championship. We got to go to the parade with my son. It was just that was TV that I watched on a regular.
Yo, said the World Series. Yo,
with it.
If it's H-Town, Sketch is with it. Golly.
World Series.
Hey, ain't he gonna pull out the
So let me ask y'all a question. Did either of y'all see if you saw Black Adam, you remember the guy who could grow?
Yeah.
So he has a show called The Recruit. The Recruit is like The Office meets Jack Ryan.
Okay.
But he's a lawyer.
Okay.
He did a good job in it. It's on Netflix, Parental Advisory.
Yeah.
A lot of F words. So, but it was good.
Okay.
I just finished it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So, is there any shows y'all looking forward to the 2023 before we move on?
More Swamp People.
Who?
More Swamp People.
More Swamp People. Okay. Sketchy, anything you looking forward to?
I'm trying to think of what. Nothing on my radar right now.
Okay.
What about you?
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Bad Batch, season 2, and more AEW.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've been following it, but
yeah, they've been putting on some good shows lately. In the
Oh yeah.
I've enjoyed the Best of 7 with Death Triangle and the Young Bucks, or the Elite.
The Elite. What is the name of the band who they got this new song? Have you heard? You know what I'm talking about?
It's an old 70s song called by Kansas, I think it is. Carry On My Wayward Brother. Yeah.
What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's white people music. I mean,
look, I'm with it. When I heard it, I was like, this is fire.
Yeah.
This
yeah, they had to license that one. So
yeah, that was fire.
and
So
speaking of
now-
AEW and music, congrats on you getting some
Congrats.
music into their catalog for
Right.
the album, and you did a theme song for Serena Deeb. You got the belt there, GodChaserz belt. So that's been fantastic. And I know we talk a lot about wrestling, and that's been a big dream and goal of yours. So congratulations.
Yes, God did it. I can't give nobody the credit but the Lord. And Super Dream, and since I did Serena Deeb's theme song, it's in the AEW video game. So
That was supposed to come out too, yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to come out. So I don't know when, but they keep dropping teasers, so we're gonna see.
So let me ask this question. So none of y'all have seen Swamp People at all?
I haven't.
No, is this like a comic book, like off the Swamp Thing, or you're talking about like the reality show?
The reality show where they go and shoot crocodiles in slow motion.
I remember it, I think, from a couple of years ago, but I didn't know.
I'm telling you, I don't know why. It's you watch it, they catch the crocodiles, they say funny stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I like Forged as well. Forged in Steel?
Fire, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like I don't know. I like those kind of shows. But yeah, I thought it's funny. I like it.
Cool. Now I never seen it.
It's country. It's super country.
So you want to dive into these albums before these verses? Okay. Yeah. All right. So Sketch, before we went on, Reddy said he has the best top 10 album. Like his list is impeccable. So we're gonna start with Sketch this year, since Reddy says he has the impeccable album list. So
yeah,
Sketch, who is your top 10? Unless y'all want me to go, like you tell me.
Go.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So number 10 Christian hip hop album. This will be my annual pick for Plato or Crumb, who seems to drop an album every year that I enjoy. This one though is a 20-year anniversary of his Lonely Superstar album that came out, I think, on Up Rock back in the day, back when he was named Plato. So I don't know all the legal ramifications for it, but he basically got people to do remixes of each song for the beat, and then he re-recorded his verses like Taylor Swift's versions of her stuff. So I think maybe legally he didn't own the music, but he wrote the songs and could re-record them on his own with new backtracks. So that's only available on Bandcamp, but I thought it was really cool that he did that. Number 9, Who is Mark James 3 from Bumps Inf. So if you're looking for just some sharp battle rap kind of stuff from a Christian perspective, coming out of the God Over Money camp, that's a good one.
Okay.
Number 8, not maybe traditionally considered Christian hip hop, but it's an album that I certainly played a lot this year. Kingdom Book 1 by Maverick City Music and Kirk Franklin. So there was a lot of that just brought a lot of joy to my life and spoke into it, and I enjoy it. Number 7, Until He Cracks the Sky. So Brinson.
Before He Cracks the Sky. Number 7, baby. I'm in here. Hold on.
That's the cover art.
Yeah.
So a couple different storytelling elements in that are really good. I particularly enjoyed the comment section one, and kind of how that plays out about a Christian rapper who's kind of turned his back for certain reasons on the faith. And unfortunately, it's a story we see with several artists continuing to play out even today. Yeah, we all can probably think of a couple names that follow that, but you kind of address it in the music and portray it through some characters. So good work there. Number 6, The Prologue by Corey Red and Precise.
The Prologue made it. Okay.
So super dope to hear them back on the mic, and some good classic boom bap stuff.
So let me ask you this, because it was to me, did it sound like Precise was out for blood? Because when I was listening to him rap on this album, I felt like he was like, yo, I am not, if you think I'm the weakest link in this group,
Yeah.
I'm coming for that. I'm coming to kill that opinion.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because for years, probably most people out of the two would pick Coy Red as the the star of the two, but like you said, Precise came pretty sharp.
Yeah,
on a lot of that stuff.
okay.
So, number 5, Church Clothes 4 by Lecrae. I don't know that he broke a ton of new ground, but it was still good to hear him rapping in some of those different styles and putting out some good music. Number 4, Bodega by DJ Michael V. So I really love kind of the collaboration aspect. You got to hear a ton of voices in was it 1995's production?
1995.
Yep.
Slaps, man. I had not heard a lot from him before, but he's definitely somebody that I look for, and I really appreciate seeing Christian hip hop and even its younger generation kind of appreciate that style a lot. Number 3 is a bit of a localized version, but I hope people check it out. It's Chapa Cumbia, Still Holding by DJ Overdose. So Overdose is a guy in Houston that did a lot of chopped and screwed stuff on the secular side and then became a believer. So he got together with a couple guys, and in his secular side, he was known for doing this kind of mashup of cumbia music with like Southern hip hop and Houston hip hop in particular. So it's kind of like a Mexican, not necessarily Mexican, but certainly a Latin style of music. And it's kind of in Spanglish. The main MC on that is a guy by the name of Halo out of Dallas. And just a whole different way and take of presenting gospel music and hip hop and Latino culture and that sort of thing. So check that out if you haven't. My number 2 was New Hollywood by What Up RG. He wasn't somebody that I really checked for in the past, but I feel like this gave me a lot and some replay value. He's even got some good pop stuff that's kind of in the vein of a Weeknd or Post Malone kind of style. So I enjoyed that. And the number 1 is The Return, which is an instrumental project by Peace 586 and Daniel Steele. It's thematically about the return of Christ, but it's just instrumental hip hop that they put together. I think a 10-song album. I bought the vinyl and have enjoyed playing that throughout the year. So
I'm gonna get that.
Whoa! Yep. So your number 1 Christian hip hop album was an instrumental album?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Okay. So ready? We gon' you said you got the impeccable 10.
Let me slide in there and I'll go in there and see if your list is better than mine.
No, you know what? We're gonna save yours for last because you said yours was impeccable. We just let's just do this. I'm gonna go. So Sketch, was there any Christian hip hop album that almost made your list but didn't? I mean, almost made your list.
I'd have to look back at some of the ones that I've listened to recently, but I think the ones I named were the ones that I played the most this year.
Okay. So I got a lot of surprises, and probably people y'all, I don't know if you heard of them or not, but let's see. All right, so number 10. So my honorable mention, Bit Sessions by Riggs.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, and the reason, is some reasons it couldn't make the list. If some of the reasons in my my category, some of it got it out. But if certain things went, it would have been, it might have been one. But number 10, have you guys ever heard of Marcus Rogers?
I've not.
You talking about the dude that's on YouTube?
Him.
Okay.
He has an album called Deeper Waters 2.
It's good?
It's surprisingly good.
Okay.
It's surprisingly good. Real heavy-handed Jesus. And I'm for it. you know, that get me hype. So I like when stuff is overly preachy. Like, talk to me. Like, if it ain't gonna help, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
What's his name? Marcus Rogers.
Marcus Rogers. Deeper Waters too. I appreciated the album cover too. It was simple, but I appreciated the artwork. You know, I'm big on artwork. Number 9. I think this dude has never been in my top 10 albums. Ty Brazel, Transcendent. Now, the way that he put this album together, I appreciated more Jesus than I heard him have, more Jesus, more. I feel like this is that album that he not only just found himself, but just got grounded in who he is as a rapper who reps the cross, and he has that newer style, and I think people who are liking that newer style, he's their guy.
Yeah.
Number 8, Miles Minnick, Holographic.
Yeah.
I like that West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like, he repping West. He had a Bizzle on his album. He did. Let me make something clear. He did not go bar for bar with Bizzle. Okay, let's just call it what it is. He didn't go bar for bar with him. Bizzle had a great verse on there, but the swag, the passion, and the hook, you ain't have to go bar for bar with him. But the other things that he brought, he had a little bit of, dare I say, star power in that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm expecting big things from this guy, Miles Minnick. My next one, I think this is 6. Emmanuel the Prophet. Now, when you
I heard of him. Yeah.
Yes, he has a different style. But when you hear what he's saying, more heavy-handed Jesus, a lot of cleverness, a lot of he's Drake clever in the things that he says. So his album called Captured by the Lord. Next, Oatmeal Variety Pack made the list. And here's why. From me knowing how he made this album, usually, I'm helping on concepts and brainstorming. I had zero input on this. He got his own features. He put this thing together by himself. This guy Alcott
It's nasty. Yeah.
He's on a song with Oatmeal. And when I first heard it, I was like, is my dude about to get bodied? That's my first thought. I'm like, is he about to body Oatmeal? The answer is no. Like, Oatmeal, he did his thing now. Alcott came out like, Oatmeal, like, you know what? GodChaserz, baby. And he went at it. And him and C Straight had a phenomenal song because they're both newlyweds and they're talking about their now spouses, and phenomenal song with Jacob. So because we don't have a lot of Christian rap songs for cuffing season, and I think that's they did a perfect song, Make You Mine, and I think that should be highlighted on like a top tier song because those boys, like C Straight is probably one of the best rappers on our label, but him and Oatmeal went bar for bar because Oatmeal came with the I am in love. He went LL Cool J, I need love on y'all, and just skyrocketed on that song. Both of them did good. So next is Dre Murray Reborn, the $40 album.
That's why I didn't get it.
Because of $40.
Just being real. $40.
Hey,
Bandcamp version.
Hey, no, you can't get a Bandcamp version because pay the 40, brother. Like,
I'm gonna get it, but that was one of the. I was like, wow.
So explain how he's releasing that for people that may not know.
So he's released. So I think this is why the album is $40. The price tag. It's not just a one release. It's a continuous creative release. So this album, by when he's done, you might get 15 songs now, but when it's done, you might have 40 songs, because what he does when you get the album, when he releases another song for the album, you get it. So it's really creative on how he did it. And I'm always for the alternative of releasing with streaming and stuff like that, and putting power back in the hands of the artist. And plus, he's did great with marketing it, doing videos, being very visible. So Reborn is a great one. So, all right, here go my top 4. Number 4, Lecrae, Church Clothes 4. Now, this is the best Lecrae I've heard since Rebel. Yes.
I gotta think about it.
So Anomaly in Rebel, right?
Right.
So between Anomaly and Rebel is Church Clothes 4. So Spread the Ops to me is that could possibly be my favorite Lecrae song.
It's dope.
It's possibly my favorite Lecrae song.
Right.
And Misconception, I got more to say about the Misconception, but I'll save that for later. So number 3, Bodega. Now, the boom bap-ness of the Bodega is phenomenal. I was talking to Will Thomas today. I told him, I said, dude, I felt like Havoc from Mobb Deep made one of these tracks. Like, I was in a time capsule. I said I felt Havoc, Alchemist. One of them sound like, now this show, your hip hop knowledge. I heard some Jedi mind tricks.
Wow.
I was like,
you went back.
True. Right. That's what got me. I was like, oh man, I hear it. So that's my number 3. My number 2, Sibling Rivalry. AI Say Lotta Corner. Now,
yeah, I'm with it.
So, man, this AI that I heard on this album is the AI that everybody been talking about. Before, I was like, she is dope, but she wasn't. This was top tier rhyming over and over. The beats was good. Like, time capsule feeling, I felt it. Like, I was like, okay. I felt like, so the Bodega mixed with the Sibling Rivalry, it was like I was listening to like an old DJ Clue mixtape. And my number 1 pick for album of the year of 2022. Now, I did so I got so much flack for putting my own albums in my list. Now, let me paraphrase by saying, to me, yes, Before He Cracks the Sky is number 1, but since all the flack of you can't put your own album, blah blah blah, whoever said that, y'all know what my number 1 is. But to save face with the listeners, number 1, Against All Odds by Big Phil. It made number 1 on iTunes for a few weeks. The rapping, this was prime. I think this was premier Big Phil. The singing, premier Big Phil. The songwriting, premier. Beat selection, premier. Like, everything down to the album art, to the production, to the mixing, to bar for bar. Like, he had some people I've never heard of. This lady named DJ Wildfire Wildflower on a track. She murdered hook, beat, like everything that he did on there was almost perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like the cadences, the switch ups, the transparency on God, how much he need God. Like, to me, this is probably my favorite Big Phil album of all time. And Against All Odds, Big Phil, numero uno. But we know what the real Brinson number one is. All right, so ready? We're going to give you the floor because you said you had the list of the best albums of 2022.
All right. So I'll start by saying that there are three. So you have Oatmeal Variety Pack, which
are you live on right now? I don't know.
So
go ahead. Number 10.
So let me start with saying Oatmeal Variety Pack could have made it. Also, Bodega was an album I was waffling on. Paris Carrez, Bats, No Big Deal, John Keith. All the dudes on that album killed on that Bodega joint. I loved it. Just didn't make this particular list. Also, Vent Sessions. Riggs is a freaking sorcerer when he rhymes. It's crazy. The last one, Taylor Gray, Find a Way. I wanted to put that album on here so bad, but there's some things that he did on that album that I had to kind of leave off this list for. But great album overall. A lot of good talk on there. A lot of talk about some of the things that Lecrae spoke about. Just a lot of transparency. So let me get to my list.
Okay.
All right.
I hope this is good, brother. You said this is the greatest list. So let's see what you got.
All right. Number 10.
Number 10.
GOM. Us Against the World. Easy. It's GOM, lyrical excellence, a lot of posse cuts, everybody killing it. Of course, you got bump imps. You get your bump imps in there. Then you get your Jared Sanders. Then you got your Dayton in there. Then you got your Monster Tarvers. You got your AI Anomalies, your Selah in there. What more do you need to say after you hear all that lyricism? Number 9, SO, Now or Later.
Now, is this the Afrobeat album?
No, this isn't. This is it's like a combination of sounds. The song that most people heard was the Bad Man song, which sounds like, that UK vibe. But he did some boom bap stuff. He did some wavy stuff. He really showed that he can do anything he wants to do on the mic, and it was fire. Number 8, Dayton, Menace Movement Mixtape 2. Dayton is by far one of the most consistent lyricists, and this is what I mean by this. Anytime you hear somebody rap, anybody who's ever rapped understands that it's a puzzle. And sometimes you can't say it how you want to say it. And so you get a breakdown of the lyricism, or you can't rhyme a word that you want to rhyme, and you got to start over. When you hear Dayton, it's so flawless. It's ridiculous. Like it's frustrating when I hear, I'm like, how did he do that? Cadence, breath control, excellence. Yeah. So number 7, Sleeper. I think Sketch will love this album. Cephas. America Shall Be Saved.
Yeah. My bad, Cephas. He was supposed to be in my top, but I didn't finish the album.
So great album. I think he made all the beats on here. You got D-Mob on this album as well. So shout out to D-Mob.
Yeah, D-Mob killed it.
Yep, he killed it. Just a dope, chill, listen, good lyricism, good beats. Again, the time machine kind of stuff. So
which one? America Shall Be Saved, or?
Yep, America Shall Be Saved. Just put it on and let it rock.
Yeah, I've heard him.
It's dope. Number 6, Brinson, Before He Cracked the Sky.
Number 6 ain't in the top 5.
So on this album, you get great hooks, great story. Great beat selection.
Great features.
He does a little bit of everything on here. Attack on Titan. The intro was dope. Flowers from the South with Big Phil. Phil killing the hook game again. I don't know if y'all remember back in the day, Joe Hooker. That's who Big Phil is. He murders the hooks. So great album.
Oh no.
What's up?
No, go ahead. I'm comments. I'm reading comments.
So great album. Number 5, Lecrae, CC4. It's Lecrae being Lecrae, honestly. A lot of open and honest conversations about deconstruction, conversations about his feelings and the things he's been going through. Well-produced album. You can tell a lot of hands was in it, and that they wanted to shape and mold it into a perfect project, or as perfect as they could get it. So Lecrae did his thing. A lot of different rhyme styles and different things like that. So good features. You know, AI the Anomaly was on there as well. So she's all through my list as I look at it. Yeah. She's on a number of these albums. Number 4, What Up RG, New Hollywood. I was honestly surprised. I'm not too much of. I've been listening to What Up RG ever since he was with Indie Tribe, and a little bit before that when he used to just chill with Indie Tribe and be in No Big Deals videos. So when I heard this album, I was surprised. It has so much range, so many dynamic things happening with the beats changing in the middle of the beat. It felt like, in a strange way, it sounded a lot like Gavi stuff. There was a lot of Gaviness in some of those songs. So I thought it was dope. Yeah, it was real good. I like the fact that he talked about his struggles. He was transparent, talking about different things that he went through, different struggles, and then the people that was on the album talked about the same kind of struggles. And I think we need a lot more of that.
Even the song like I like myself better when I'm sober or something like that.
That was a great song.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a song like you can, you don't have to even be a believer to hear that, but there's so much, it's so countercultural to, particularly in hip hop, to say like, I'm better when I'm sober, when you turn on the radio and you hear so many opposite messages to that,
Yeah.
So I need to be clear headed and that's a better way to live. It was a good song. So.
Yeah. Great album. Number 3. I can't believe I don't hear more about this young lady, Reese Lachey. Trust the Wave. I'm gonna say this. I went through.
Hold on. Wait. We tried to sign her. Just so we can just look at it. We tried to sign her. So okay, go ahead.
So I went through so many wavy type albums, listening, trying to hear somebody who. This is the thing that I see with these albums. Either they're great rappers and they have bad beats, or the hooks are bad. But when you listen to her album, I think it's 5 or 6 songs all the way through, dynamite hooks, excellent rapping, caught the vibe and the feel, great summertime, I'm riding with the windows down, I'm washing my car vibe. I mean, I was surprised. It's dope. Pick that up. She's dope. I don't have anything else to say about her, but I think the sky's the limit for her. Number 2, AI and Selah, sibling rivalry.
That's my 2.
I would have made this album number 1, but I was being picky. And one of the hooks, I just I didn't get what they did with that hook. Outside of that, flawless project. Selah did his thing. I like the song particularly. I can't think of the name of the song right now, but the topic was he was talking to somebody back and forth, and there was barking back and forth, I guess online. The guy comes to a show and his friend is with him that has the gun, and then he finds out that the dude was just playing and he brought his son to the concert, and he really wasn't about that action. Great song, great album in total. The producer it was a different kind of sound. And at first I didn't like it because I wanted some more of that kind of grittiness, that kind of, that you typically hear Selah over, but it was a different kind of space, and Selah changed up his rhyme patterns and different things. He did some great work on that album. Number one, I hate that nobody talks about this guy.
Okay.
So if anybody has been listening to Christian rap way back when Mr. Biscuit used to drop albums,
okay,
this guy used to rhyme with Mr. Biscuit, Raging Moses.
Oh yeah.
The Flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
So the Flourishing, I came across. He had a song called Velour Seats that came out, I think, years ago, and just nothing else happened with it. And then all of a sudden, he dropped the Flourishing. The first track, Odyssey.
Raging Moses is your number one Christian hip hop album of 2022.
Yep.
Okay.
I listened to the first song, Odyssey, which is like a 2-minute lyrical exhibition where he is heavy-handed with the gospel, and loved it. Then I listened more and more and more, and before I knew it, I had the album on repeat. So much depth and lyricism, so much gospel in it. Impeccable lyricism. The only feature is Dayton, different kind of beats, smooth feel. I knew Raging Moses could rhyme, but I didn't know like that. I didn't know he could do that. So I would say check that joint out. He did not miss. It depends on who you are, right? I'm in a place now where I like smooth music more than turn up music, and that was right down my alley. So yeah. Raging Moses, The Flourishing, number one.
Raging Moses, The Flourishing. Yeah, I remember you talking about it. So I knew he was gonna make your top 10. I didn't know he was gonna be number one.
Yep.
Okay.
I went through the list and I listened to all this stuff over and over again. And I was like, yeah, this is it. The closest thing was AI and Selah. But then when I listened to the Raging Moses, it's just so polished and well done. It's just great.
Shout out to Raging Moses. Hopefully he see this podcast so he can be like, I'm number one this year. So versus the new category. I'm gonna go first. So what I think is a lot of times we can hear stellar verses and the project goes nowhere.
Yeah.
You just hear stuff and you just be like, it didn't make it. So number 10. Okay, number 10. I dropped a mixtape called Illmatic. Illmatic, Stillmatic, Hillmatic, pun intended. Oatmeal dropped a verse on this song called All My Dogs. I felt like he went Super Saiyan on this verse. Like, you hear Oatmeal and he happy, he vibing. He went somewhere else. And I'm like, duplicate that again. So that's my number 10. Number 9 on Bodega. I don't know if you remember the title track Bodega, but that's verse on Bodega, he took off. I was like, the beat switch, his voice was a perfect blend for that beat, and it was like it just elevated that experience of hearing that 16. Okay.
Which MC were you talking about on that one?
That's Bodega.
Yeah.
But whose verse?
Bats.
Oh, okay.
Third verse. And like Bats got one of those unique voices that in those type of beats, it's like Q-Tip Tribe, but more lyrical. You see what I did there? Okay. Number 8, Mouthpiece on this track called Vessel of the Lord. His second verse, he left Atlanta and went somewhere else. Like, I love the song because it felt like a vicious Christian rap. Like, it was really aggressive. It was Jesus aggression. So somebody called Vince McMahon Jesus aggression. Next, ReadyWriter. No question. From before he cracks the sky, he comes in on the verse and says, "Rap with me," and who could do it? So yes, that's another. Next, Lecrae. Misconception. Now, let me say this. On all the misconceptions, I never thought that Cray had the best verse. He always would have a good verse. He never had the best verse. This was the first time that he had the best verse. And then that verse, he did that verse on Sway in the Morning. He knew it was a good verse. Like, that was a smart thing to do. Let me take the verse that I know I body and let's go here. So, and let me say this. AI on there, if she would have had a sibling rivalry verse on Misconception, we would not have this conversation. Okay.
Yeah. That song is interesting because, like you said, that to me on the Church Clothes mixtapes, that's always where Lecrae tries to show you, like, hey, I can rap. I don't just make, radio songs or whatever. He's like, I need to flex a little bit here and let me show you how I could get down with the Brails or the whomever, in the past. So
right. And then on one of the Misconceptions, he had Jackie Hill Perry on there, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So this one, he had the best verse. Okay. And I was like, I cannot overlook how dope the line that I raised my kids on CHH. I breed different. That was the line. I was like, that was the line. Then he did the flex, New York bestseller author. I read different. Like,
yeah. And doesn't precede that line about, like, I raised your kids on my music, or I raised your kids for my alimony or something.
I'm coming for my alimony.
Wow.
That was tough. It was tough. Like, you can't front. You just can't front. Now, this is number 5. Number 5, with the pun intended, goes to Under 5.
That was a good verse. Yeah.
Her verse on Posted Up on Before He Cracks the Sky. It was bars. It was bars. It was bars. So she definitely did her thing. And due to the fact that the first 8 bars she was talking to me, then the second 8 bars she was like, for those of y'all who've been trying to steal my style, I'm coming back to get it. I'm like, ooh. Talk. Okay, talk. Number 4, verse Monster Tarver, GOM Menace from the God Over Money. What's the name of the album, Ready?
Menace Movement Mixtape Part 2.
No.
The God Over Money Project.
God Over
Us Against the World.
Us Against the World. His verse on there. And after you heard the verses, you was like, all right, nobody else is on the song.
Yes.
Nobody else wanted to do it. Like, everybody like, let's save face. Let's just let him rap. Let him rap. And he rapped. So that's my number 4. Number 3, we've talked about this lady all through this podcast. AI the Anomaly. Her first verse on the title track of Sibling Rivalry was top shelf rhyming. Like, this is what I want. I like, for the people who've been built, hyping, it's been a lot of hype around her for years. That met every single piece of hype, that verse. So she went ham on sibling rivalry. My number 2, Selah the Coroner. His verse on Float from sibling rivalry. I think that's either the first
track 2 or track 1. Track 1. I think it's track 1.
It's track 1 or track whichever one he did. Like, that could possibly be the best Selah verse I've ever heard in my life. And he manhandled it. So my number 1 verse. Oh, let's paraphrase. Hold on. Since I can't vote for me. Before I go to my number 1, my real number 1 is my verse from Vent Sessions. So I'm gonna just say that. But the number 1, since I can't vote for me on my own thing, is Riggs' verse on what is it? Concerto number 7 on Vent Sessions. It was him, Q Flow, and C4 Crotona. Riggs. That's the best Riggs verse I've ever heard in my life. Like, that was the verse I was like, okay. If I was on that song and he spit that, I would have said, wait a minute, give me another week. I need to go back. I need to do an LL Cannabis on you, because this is we not doing this. Not today. So that's my top 10 verses. I know Sketch said he had a shorter list, so we're gonna go to Sketch and then we're gonna go to Ready.
Yeah, and I'll do better for this next year. So, but I was writing out some of them, and even went back and like wrote word for word just to kind of, watch it come together in front of me. But Dayton's stuff on Too Much, My Bad, that song on his album, I was trying to debate between the verse where he's trying to like express his views on transgender and people that are pressing that, versus the one where he's kind of speaking to the church and like, hey, you guys are doing a bunch of infighting. So he was really sharp on that song. So I appreciated that. Number 4, Corey Red on Fire Angels. So some of it, when I saw the words, I was like, some of it is maybe not the sharpest in the world, but his voice kind of just with his lyrics just catches your eye. It's one of those guys, like I could hear him just rap a phone book or something and still kind of be intrigued by what he's doing. And phone book is a super old reference, I just realized. So may not understand what that is, but I can listen to him just kind of rap anything. Lecrae's verse on Still in America, I particularly took the part where he slows down and just makes it super apparent, but he talks about some of the church in America feeling like a Broadway production, and how we worship economy, and we kill our own babies to keep our autonomy. Don't you mess with our Second Amendment, we're probably going to riot, but take out the probably. I was like, man, that speaks to a lot of what I think our political climate is in the States, particularly coming from Christians. That kind of makes me discomforted a little bit. So I like that he was mentioning that. My number 2 verse is Belief Melanin from the Bodega Project, Peace King. And
that was too short.
It was too short. Yeah. So, but he again, I think kind of speaks to me, at least some parts of my life, where he talks about I'm kind of frustrated with the people that say they represent Christ. I feel like I'm relating more to monks. But he's like, don't get it twisted. Like, I still, Jesus is my savior, and I know he's not a fraud. I need to go out and spread the love of God. But sometimes I just feel as lost as the lost. And I think that's just a reality, that some of us sometimes feel our sinfulness in that weight. Even as you're going out and trying to share the gospel or whatever, you'll just realize your humanity and your need for a savior. So sometimes you'll feel just as lost as the lost. And then my first verse was one from Ambassador. So some people may not know, but Ambassador from Cross Movement put out a project this year. Actually worked with a lot of Houston artists on it. But man, just going back and listening to him. So there's a song called New Hustle. And there's a verse on there where he, as Ambassador is always doing, like proclaiming the supremacy of Christ and why we should worship him. But even in this, like he's referencing who's the Rehoboth, the Jay-Z, or not J. Cole, it's the JC. And then there's a lot of like mentions of specific letters of the alphabet that are just put together in this. But he talks about praying for Karens. And I think the final lines that I really loved was, it was like, across the graven sky, he's the word you should copy like you plagiarized. So, yeah, if you haven't checked out Ambassador stuff, he's still putting it out there. And like you said, if you're looking for heavy Jesus stuff, he could put it together with the, one of the best. So
that's your whole list?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's a good list. That's a good list. So you ready for your top verses of 2022?
Okay, so I'm going to start and say a disclaimer. I did not do my due diligence on this particular topic. So excuse me if I missed a lot of the stuff that I normally would have caught and put on this list. Sketch's breakdown was excellent in talking about the actual lyrics, and that's probably what I'm going to do next year, is actually bring up the actual quotes and different things they say. So with that being said, I'm gonna lay it out, but it's really in no particular order. So I'll start with 7 Paris Careers Writers Guild on Bodega. I say this because I was surprised. I've heard Paris Careers on Wavy Stuff, and just to hear him slow,
yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah,
they put him on that boom bap beat, and then he went in, and I was like, then I found myself listening to the song again. I was like, this is dope. So Paris Careers Writers Guild. Number 6, Tyson. This is also on Bodega. Tyson, Caleb Mitchell.
Yeah.
People sleep on him so hard. I think the last album he dropped, or the last couple of songs, has been him singing, right? And we know he can he can do both things, but the brother's a monster of a rhymer. So yeah, he's dope. Number 5, and this is in no particular order, this is just the way I have it laid out. I got Riggs Vent Sessions First Class, and I think that's the song with him and Selah. But again, on Vent Sessions 2, you can go through anywhere in that album and listen to Riggs go crazy. And I'll just talk briefly about,
Sketch, did you hear that out? You haven't heard it? Okay.
No, I need to add. A lot of the ones that you guys mentioned, I added right away to my streaming service so I can check them out.
So the thing about Riggs, prototypical rappers have breakdowns. You hear Q flow, you hear the Philly style breakdown. You kind of already know where the punch is coming. It's like the RJ Payne kind of setup, the Mickey Fax setup. When you hear Riggs, he's going everywhere. So you're not quite sure where he's gonna go. And that's like, for people who love lyricism, that's the wonder of it. That's like, wow, I don't know what he's gonna do on this track, what he's gonna say, how he's gonna rhyme this other word. Oh wait, he skipped the bar, he's gonna rhyme the word, the next word. That's the crazy part. You just gotta listen. And like just like anybody who wants to hear masterful lyricism, go and check out Riggs. That's what it is. Brinson on the same album, I think the name of the track is Encore.
Let's go. Let's go.
So Brinson went crazy on that track as well. You gotta sit and listen. I think sometimes, and this is just what it is. When you hear Southern rappers, sometimes you turn off your brain and stop checking for bars, right? So Brinson went on there and kind of represented for us Southern people and dropped a ton of bars in that track.
40 bars! 40 bars! Let's go!
Number 3. Lecrae, Spread the Ops, second verse. So within the group, we was having this chat about Lecrae on the Spread the Ops verse. because the verse was so impeccable. Like, this is what Lecrae does well. He is able to look at anybody's style and mimic it and get the same flow pattern as them. When I heard that track, I was like, man, that junk sounds just like Aha. And it's crazy the way he did it. The things he said on that second verse on Spread the Ops was crazy. So I was really impressed with that verse, more so than the verse that everybody else is talking about, the Posse Cut verse. All right, number 2, Jared Sanders, Payback, Us Against the World. Jared is another one of those people. He says words that most people don't say. Like, when I listened to it, I almost thought this brother had a rhyming dictionary. Literally, I was like, what? How do you get all that to come out your head? Right? Because we have a certain subset of words that we all kind of fall back on as lyricists, and we know that we can rhyme. But when you hear him going outside of the common vernacular to use words and continue to rhyme those words, it's just crazy. It's masterful. Jared has always been a great rapper. So, yeah, I think that was particularly a great verse when you hear him coming in right before, I think, AI the Anomaly and just murdering it. So my number 1, I'm gonna stick with my my number 1s here. Raging Moses, Odyssey. So I'm just saying, I'm trying to big up Raging Moses here. Go check out that first track. It's the first song. It's 1 to 2 minutes. The lyricism, the intricacy, the flow pattern, his voice, and the beat, it was great. It's just great. And just listen, replay, catch all the gospel and all the metaphors and similes in there. It's just dope. So yeah, that's my number 1, Raging Moses, Odyssey.
Was there anybody who you think could have made it that didn't make your top verses?
Bats and No Big Deal on Gotham for Bodega. Esso had a number of verses on his Now or Later that you could just throw in there. Also, Taylor Gray went crazy. He on his album, he did the particular rhyme style that it sounded like was I'm not gonna name the artist that he sounded like on there on some of the songs, but he did his thing. Dating is dating. Like I think we talked about this before. If I was to say who was the best lyricist this year, constantly, it's Dating. And then after that, I would put Riggs. So, or you can flip them back and forth. But to me,
Dating over
wrong with Dating. Huh?
Dating over Bizzle?
This year, yeah.
Okay.
I'll also say C Straight on Posse Cut with Meek Brinson and Disciple, and Disciple's another one. But C Straight, his verses in the middle, so you might miss all the crazy stuff he was saying. I just listened to it again today. That is on Before He Cracks the Sky. He murdered that verse.
I'm cold like a Yeti's lid.
That line.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that the other day.
I was like, who says that? So those are the kind of things we look for when we look for lyricism. Like, for you writers, don't write down the first thing you think. Go deeper until you say something that nobody else has said, like cold like a Yeti lid. Yeah. That's crazy.
Cold like a Yeti. Yeah, I mean, who thinks about that? Right.
So right. Yeah, that's what I got. Those are my tops there.
So was there anybody who could have made your sketch?
Shoot. No Big Deal. Somebody who I always check for and has, I think, more depth than you maybe initially think when you hear him. So I'm sure he had a verse or two that I would have liked to point out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well,
Swoop is another one. Swoop on the Bodega joint, I think. So.
Okay. Well, that's all for this year, 2022. We looking forward to 2023. You know, looking forward to a new Ready album. I'm looking forward to a new Ready album for 2022. You know, we're gonna see. I'm dropping not before he cracks out, but Flowers from the South, January the 4th, the music video. I think Sketch seen it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he did. You know, he's in the inner circle, so he's seen it. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes, leave a 5-star rating and a comment. Let people know about the GodChaserz Podcast. This your man Brinson. You God chasing or no?
Yep.